Fury Media presents Rumble vs. the Airwaves, a music, nostalgia, gaming, and culture podcast. I'm Tim, and here's Rumble.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rumble vs. the Airwaves. On today's show, we've got Damon Tate, the guitarist from modern metal band Of Virtue. We're going to talk about what's going on in pop culture that's got our attention. We're going to move on to the discovery with Knoxville, Tennessee space punk band Rough Dreams, and finally DIY or Die with our friend Will Birdwell. What's up, Tim?
What's going on, Rumble? Today, on the air date of this, it would be my dad's birthday. He's no longer alive, but I would like to dedicate this episode to him.
Hell yeah.
How's your life going?
Pretty good. I had a busy weekend. I had a lot of shows that were, kind of a far drive away, but we recover. On Wednesday, I'm going to White Castle, the only White Castle in Florida. It's in Orlando, and I'm pretty excited. It's a little sad that that's like what I'm looking forward to most in my life right now.
I mean, White Castle's good, dude.
White Castle is really good. I've only been one time. You're from Virginia, right?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot around there, but
no?
I when I went to New York, the first time I went to New York, I made sure to go to White Castle.
Yeah. Do you have a White Castle order? Do you have something like you like particularly there?
I don't feel like I've been there enough times to do that. I
Me
think
neither.
I've been there 2 times in my life.
Yeah, I've only been the one time at the Orlando one. I should have gone while I was out on tour. I don't know why I didn't. I remember really liking the little chicken sandwiches. Like, I know you go for the burgers, but the little chicken sandwiches were pretty good too. And they're really weird. They had like a little circle in the middle of them. They're like Cheez-Its. They had like a little hole in the middle. I don't know why they did that. But you ever seen them make, like, did you ever watch them make the White Castle sliders?
I did not.
It's a crazy process. For those of you listening who don't know, I'm very into cooking, and I've worked at a lot of restaurants. It's really odd. They lay out a bunch of onions on this huge flat top, like a massive amount of onions. And then they lay these little square slider patties on top of the onions. The burgers steam from the steam coming off the onions. They don't come in contact with the grill. Well, actually, they do on the other side. Like, they flip them and then the onions are face up. And then they put the 2 burger buns on top of the patty while it's cooking so that the patties steam and they soften up, and then they hit it with cheese and they stick it in the bun, stick it in the little box. It's a really interesting way to make a burger, and it comes out just like really soft, like White Castle burgers are.
So all of that stuff goes on the grill. That sounds exhausting.
Oh, I mean, I watched them do it. It's down to a science. Like,
yeah.
it's boom, onions, patty, cheese. Like, it's a system. I mean, it's got to be. They're serving out like between 5 and 10 sliders per order, right? Something
At least,
like that,
right?
Yeah. I remember when I went, I got, I think, 6 or 7, which was an egregious amount. And I felt very, very horrible afterwards. And we went to Disney Springs, and it was a rough trip to Disney Springs. I've never seen Harold and Kumar go to the White Castle.
I was going to say, they literally made a movie about it.
I know, and I've never seen it. You've seen it, right?
Duh, dude.
Yeah. It's a little more your time. It's a little before my time.
100% my time. I think I was 17 when that movie came out, almost 18.
It's one of those movies I've been meaning to watch, but I have to be high to watch it.
You know, there's 3 of them now, right?
Yeah, no, I know. There's like one where they go to jail, right? Or they break
There's
out
one
of...
where they go to jail, and there's a Christmas special. That's the newest one.
Okay.
It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. When are we gonna get the Harold and Kumar reunite movie?
I think it's going to happen.
It's got to happen, right?
Yeah.
They've been bringing all sorts of stuff back, and they'll do anything for the nostalgia money.
I want to see a Cheech and Chong movie where they go to like a nursing home.
Oh, totally, dude. That would be awesome.
That would be a cool remake of a stoner movie.
For sure. All right, now let's go talk to Damon Tate from Of Virtue. All right, thanks for being on the show, Damon.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. So, tell us about the new album.
Ooh. Well, it is called Omen, for starters. It was probably one of the hardest things that we've ever done collectively. And I could even just say from a personal experience, it's like none of us knew how that record was going to shape up or how, I guess even think it was going to be conceived, because not to distance ourselves too far away from, the COVID or the pandemic or whatever it is, but just like everybody else, the world decided to tell us, hey, sit back. You need to recalibrate. But because we all kind of had that collective time to just be a little more introspective, to experiment, to be more open, I think it allowed for us to be our most creative selves. You're not worried about any of the politics of music or what other people think. You're just like, you know what? These are like the most raw and unfiltered stories and experiences and feelings that we've probably put into musical form a lot. And so much happened during that time too, man, whether like you were talking about like self-reflection. Unfortunately, had some people, move on without us during COVID, which is never easy because obviously with all the restrictions and just not being able to really like be there to fully comfort people or, to have those kind of like unresolved feelings or situations. It's like, there's so many things that went into it that I'm honestly, this is going to sound like a very like reductive statement. I'm just happy that we're here. I'm happy that we're talking, and I'm happy that people do enjoy Omen. It is out the way that they have. So
yeah, no, me and Tim got the chance to listen to it. It's fantastic. You guys did an outstanding job on it.
Thank you, man. I'm just, like I said, just glad that people are liking it, and it gives us a chance to continue doing not only what we love, but you work hard for something. It's not always apples to oranges where it's like, hey, you're going to be able to get this and get this. It's like, it's these kind of moments, or you're just living for like these little things that sometimes people can't really quantify, man. These little pockets of time that you have to be in a specific timeline to achieve. And it's like, it really is tricky. It is different. And I'm just glad that we're here.
Absolutely. So we wanted to sort of like talk about you and some of what influenced you growing up. So you grew up in Michigan, right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yes.
In Michigan, when you were growing up, what were some of those bands that were like getting you to want to say like, hey, I want to try to do this?
Oh man. It's funny because when people ask, like, there are the bands that like the first music that I discovered on my own was like new metal. So it's like Slipknot and Korn and Deftones,
totally. Yeah.
Seven Dust, Biscuit.
I definitely hear that in the music.
Yeah.
Hey, and that's the thing, dude. We love it, and we've always wanted to kind of implement the energy of that era, especially the attitude and everything else. Sometimes a couple other riffs. Hey, you don't have to. We don't have to worry about that.
It's okay.
It's the first bands that really like made me go, oh, this is attainable. That's a different like set of bands altogether. It's like you have Thrice, you have Glassjaw, you have one of my all-time favorites, which this is just kind of a cool moment, so I can share it with you guys. Misery Signals. Some people might not know them. A lot of people might not know them, but they're an older, kind of technical, hardcore, metalcore, whatever you want to call it. One of my top 3 favorite bands of all time. Like, cannot be impeached. They changed the way that I write music, looked at music, and I shared a story of theirs because they had 2 singers in their timeline before they kind of went on hiatus, and I think they might be doing something. So I just shared the story, and Carl Schubach, the singer that's on Mirrors, Controller, Absent Light, actually follows me back. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is cool.
Rad, dude.
And it's like, you still have those, like, hey man, we're here. And it's just like to have probably the closest thing to like an idol, and it's social media. So I take that for what it is, obviously, but it's still cool to be like, oh shoot, okay. A band that I looked up to, somebody even just took the time to go, you know what, who is this guy? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And they're like,
that's super cool. Getting started as a musician, what did that look like for you? Because it always looks a little bit different for everybody. Did you know for a while that you wanted to do it, or was it kind of like an impulse thing?
No, I would say mine was kind of born out of necessity, but it's also just something that's always been there. Like my mom, she put me in music school when I was younger, just to probably keep me out of doing weird stuff.
Keep you busy.
and it worked for a while until I decided to grow my own teenage brain. And we all know how that can be sometimes.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I got into a bunch of trouble, was just doing knucklehead shit. And when it came time for me to like, for life to tell me, hey, you need to sit your ass down and figure out what you want to do, because if you don't, it's going to be bad news. And we talk about that in Omen a bit, but music was that thing where it's like, man, this has always kind of been there. It's always been a thing that you lean into and you kind of don't really think about it. And then that's again where we talk about bands that like really inspire me to be like, okay, man, you have the talent to do it, but talent is not always going to be. You know how it goes, man. Hard work is going to beat talent at 100 times out of 100.
Yeah.
And for at least for me in my personal journey, it was one of those where it's like block out all the noise and all the distractions and focus your energy into something that can give you something. It could be bigger than yourself. And here we are today, man. And it's like, not saying like, we don't deserve to be here, but just in a life sense, I'm just happy to be here, healthy, sober, talking to you guys, being able to share these kind of stories, these kind of messages, man. So it's, again, it really is a blessing, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I wanted to comment on something you said because, like, like the press stuff, it was like, oh, some talking points. You talk about sobriety. How long have you been sober now?
So this will be 2007. So that's like 17-ish years, something like that.
That's something that's personally really important to me. I've been sober for coming up on 2 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. And congrats to you too. I was wondering if you wanted to talk about that a little bit and your journey with it, because that's something that's really near and dear to me too.
Absolutely. It's ever evolving, one day at a time. That's kind of been the thing that's always been imbued on me. It's at first it was harder to kind of grasp like what goes into not only like staying because people sometimes get caught up with that word. It's a buzzword. It's a thing where it's like, oh, okay, so you're actively doing this. And it's like, well, are you though? Or are you just using that label, moniker, title, and then still doing the same behaviors that got you into the situations in the first place? So for me, it's like, it's doing the work. It's, holding myself accountable, finding people around me that will keep me accountable. It is being truthful, being honest with yourself about anything and everything, because at no point in time do you want to feel like you're backsliding. And even if you do a little bit, that's the other thing, is you're going to make mistakes. I'm sure you've, experienced this a little bit. It doesn't have to necessarily be like complete full on relapse, but it's identifying like, oh man, I'm feeling sad today, or I'm feeling this, or even sometimes, and this is probably one of the harder ones. It's when you're having a good day and not going, ooh, I'm in a good mood. I'm feeling elated. I'm feeling this. Because I'm feeling this good and I've done all this work, this gives me a license to dip my toe back into this other thing. And it's like, no, you can't do that either. That's also a thing. So it's, again, depending on, we could have this topic for hours and I could give you many, many different answers, but this is kind of some of the things where it has been a ride. It's been hard. I cannot lie to you about that. And to be honest, even to this day, there are still like kind of fragments and things that I'm still cleaning up from all those years ago, which is wild. When I tell people that, they're like, what do you, and I'm like, you don't understand. It's when you get yourself not only just in trouble spiritually, morally, but then also legally. A lot of times, like when you are in that system, it is next to impossible to get yourself out unless you fully change your behaviors and ways, man, because they get their tentacles and they get a hold of you. That's how people stay like habitual. That's how people stay stuck in that loop. That it was almost like a trauma loop. That was something that was taught to me, where you're just going to keep rehashing the same cycle of abusive behaviors, not only towards yourself, but to other people as well. And you might not even be aware of it. That's the craziest thing I learned out of it, is like doing things that you're unaware of, that people were hesitant to point out to you because they almost didn't want to hurt your feelings. But you can't have those people around you. You can't have the yes men and the people that are just going to capitulate or enable that shitty behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Man.
How about yourself? I was going to say, what has your journey been like for you so far? And like I said, the 2 years, it's amazing. So
yeah,
again, I don't like to I just talk to people, man. Some people are like, oh, well, how many is this? And I'm like, it is this, but it's so much more than just boiling it down to, a number, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Man, I don't know what I could say that you didn't already. Something that I learned very early on is that it gets a little bit easier. It's never linear. It's never perfectly linear, but
no,
generally it does get easier as time goes on. You have bad days. Everyone has bad days. That's something that kept me going, is like, I'll wake up tomorrow and maybe it'll be a little easier. So it definitely is, one day at a time for sure. And I don't know where like you were at in your life as far as like playing music and stuff like that. But when I got sober, and obviously still now, my bands play at like these shitty little dive bars and stuff like that. So I'm constantly surrounded. I'm sure it's no different, when you're playing arenas or anything like that, but constantly being surrounded with drugs and alcohol is hard. I don't know. It's something I never really had to articulate before, so it's hard to answer.
No, you're good, man. And
I found it to be just, sometimes it's not even one day at a time, it's an hour at a time. Sometimes you're like, this is going to be a really hard hour. And once you're through it, you're through it. So, I don't know. Just a little bit at a time is the biggest takeaway I've had from it.
And I was going to say, to touch on a point that you're making about being in a band, and especially being in a lifestyle that sometimes promotes and actively promotes some of the tropes and the stereotypes. It is, no matter what environment it is, because there was a point very early on where you do get worried about, like, oh, I play in bars or I go to places where there's booze or drugs or whatever the case may be. But that's kind of the other part when I was saying, like, doing your homework with who you surround yourself with. Because we'll just, fast forward now to where at least I'm at personally. No issues being in any situation regarding anything as far as booze or drugs, because you can almost take a look at the world that you've created in that time span. The fact that the energy that I want is more like this. Not to say that if you drink or do drugs that I don't want to be friends with you, or I don't want to meet you, or there's, the world has something in store for us that we might not understand just yet. But it also, I guess it's a testament for you if you can navigate through that, not be fazed by it, not go, hey, I'm going to play a sick show and then, ooh, a beer sounds good. It's like, no, you're playing a sick show because you decided to stay away from that.
Yeah. When
we play a song like Sober, and we experienced this a little bit on our last tour with Any Given Day. We were in Europe, obviously Europe, big beer, big, metal, big, hard, heavy music scene.
For sure.
But we get up there and we're telling our truth and our story. And some people literally questioned us to our face. They're like, you do know where you're at? And I go, absolutely. And my message is for anyone at any point in time, because someone in that crowd could just be doing what they think they should be doing when it's not actually the right thing for them.
Yeah,
and they need to know that they need to hear and see somebody going, hey man, I'm here with you. I'm not running from it. In fact, I feel like this is the place where we need to be, because there are going to be people that are kind of lost. Like, I was, like you were at some point, and you can be that kind of North Star to get them to that next point in life. And if it wasn't for you in that moment, if it wasn't for you doing these interviews, if it wasn't for your friend here, I'm sure you guys have been through some stuff, and you're here, you have this platform, you're able to give it to one another. He can trust you because of the work that you put in yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's all a cumulative thing, and it's all something that, as long as you, again, it's being authentic, it's being honest, it's being sincere. And it's also understanding, like, it's like, I'm sure if there was a day where you're like, hey man, we're going to go to yada, 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 and this is all going to be around here. And you approached him and was like, yo, dude, I might not be able to do that. I'm sure he would understand, and you guys would figure it out, rock it out solo, and then get back to it. Or you get there and then somebody hears you and goes, man, you know what? That guy was brave. He put himself in a situation where it's like, I could learn from that. He didn't fold to the pressures. He didn't do this. And it's like, it's so multifaceted. But again, I could talk about this for hours. So
yeah, I have no idea how to segue between these two things, but there was something. There's
hard left.
We're taking a very hard left, because, like, as much as I do want to, could like also sit here and talk about this for forever, we can't do that. But there was something that Tim was excited to talk to you about. Something that I don't know a whole lot about.
Fair.
You still watch wrestling?
I do, yes. I've been getting more into it again recently. There was a while, like, I'm a huge, like, old school, like, WCW, ECW, WWF, like,
Attitude Era.
Attitude, and I'd say like halfway into ruthless aggression, like it was once we started getting a lot more Cena, I was like, okay, man, this is getting a little, you know. I do like John Cena, but
I stopped watching for a while, and then I went over to AEW, and then I just stopped watching wrestling for like 2 years, and then I just started watching again because they brought Cody back, and now they have The Rock, and it's kind of got my interest. Are those some of the same things that are getting your interest to kind of get you back into it more, like you just said?
So one of the wrestlers that actually started piquing my interest again to get me to, so RIP, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. Like he gave me.
He's from the hometown. Actually, we're recording right now. That was very sad.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
but no, he like Kane is my favorite wrestler of all time, and it's weird because like I never fully enjoyed his story arc beyond like 99 2000 because I feel like they kind of like mismanaged, kind of dumbed down. It's like that kind of lovable, like I get it, but that like 97 98 through 2000, it was like the most unstoppable, weird Michael Myers-esque force that I'm like, I know Austin was hot, I get it, I know The Rock was coming into his own, you had all that, you had Undertaker, you had everything going on at the time, but man, like Bray Wyatt and just the weird, creepy, sadistic, like it was one of those things where I was like, okay, you got my attention again. And some of the heels too, like Seth Rollins, fucking, I hate that dude, and he does a great job of making and selling that. Again, Roman Reigns, it kind of gives me some Cena vibes, but at least they put enough good people around him and build enough story arcs to where it's not completely dead in the water yet, at least for me returning back to it. But
are you looking forward to WrestleMania this year? Are you going to watch it?
I'm going to try. So little nugget here, we might be in the studio when WrestleMania is happening. So we'll probably try to turn that on in the background, maybe get a little inspiration for a part 2 of something. So we'll see about that.
Who do you think should win between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes?
I mean, you could have just said, do you want Cody Rhodes to win? And I said, yes.
Okay.
Is he going to win? That's the...
yeah. Do you think they're finally going to put him over? No?
No, I don't. But it'll be entertaining. And again, it just kind of keeps kicking the can down the road for eventually for them to... Because I think that's one of the only problems with WWE, and honestly, the way that I think Vince handles some of his champions sometimes is like, you do need to diversify the portfolio, and he's shown a proclivity to do it over the years, but as of late, it just kind of seems like with kind of all the turmoil that they've had, especially with, I don't need to get into what's going on with him because I think, but they need something steady. Obviously having The Rock come back, get those ratings up, have a familiar face, having Cody Rhodes there to kind of be like, hey guys, don't worry, we're going to right the ship. And I think, again, this might be headed in a direction that does lend itself more to that. So I do understand the business side of it, but yeah, just as a fan, do I think that they're going to let Cody get over right now? No, I don't think so. But you never know.
You never do know.
So you said you're going to be something I latched onto there. You said you're going to be in the studio while WrestleMania is going on. Is there anything you can tell us about that? I don't want to pry if you got to keep it secret.
No secrets, man. It's just Omen is Omen, and we don't want this train to stop. So right now it's any and all time that we can start just working on new stuff, getting ideas flowing. Like we're all in a pretty good spot right now as far as creativity, with the travel, with being able to, again, take the energy from what we see live, go into the studio, kind of see where we're at the time and see what comes out. So really no pressing news, nothing crazy, but again, you'll know in the back of your mind, maybe the next time you hear something, you're gonna go, I wonder if it's bled in there.
I'll be watching WrestleMania with Tim, and it'll make me think about you. I'll be like, wonder what they're up to.
You start just if you're just stomping around your house, like, man, I feel alive, and you're like, oh shit, all right, maybe I just wrote somebody else's. We'll write your entrance theme music
for sure. What else is coming up in the near future for you guys?
So outside of studio stuff, we have a very nice tour coming up. Our friends in Imminence coming back over for part 2 of them just coming to the States, but then also the Black Tour. They have a new record coming out. We'll be joining them in April through May with Catch Your Breath, who are also on fucking fire right now. Those dudes are on tour with Breaking Benjamin, which is crazy.
Hell yeah.
And Daughtry. So, like I said, that lineup, if it's coming near you, is going to be stacked. 3 bands, can't really beat it, man. Just get in, get out, and then still be able to go to work the next day, maybe, and be functional. But I also can't promise that. But
that tour's going to Welcome to Rockville, right?
I believe it is, but not all. So we won't be there, and I don't know if Catch Your Breath will be there.
Okay.
I don't Imminence will be. But we do have stuff around it. So like if there's a couple shows, so we have a couple headliners in there. We also have, I think we're joining Nothing More in Columbus, Ohio. We're playing with Nothing More and Veil of Maya for a one-off. So that'll also be super sick during that tour. So
are you playing when you one-offs in Florida?
I'll have to look at the schedule. I think we get close. I think the closest we might get is Atlanta.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, either Atlanta or we're definitely in the Carolinas. I know that, but I don't know if it's north or south.
Okay.
If we don't go to Florida, I'm sorry.
It's all good. Well, you got anything else, Tim?
No.
Anything you want to plug, Damon?
Thank you guys. Again, congratulations to you. 2 years sobriety, man. Keep it going. Keep it strong. As far as on my own side, listen to Omen, pick up a t-shirt, pick up a ticket for this tour. Again, it's going to be absolutely sick. This is the first big US tour that we've had coming back on Omen. So looking forward to seeing so many new people, seeing all of our old friends throughout the years. And outside of that, man, I just look forward to, hopefully whenever I can get back on or we do something in person when we actually get down to Florida again. Because I promise we don't hate you. Now that I'm looking at my schedule, we're not in Florida. So anybody that's listening, I'm so sorry. It's too hot. It's too hot right now.
No, that's true. That's so true. All right, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Rumble.
I hear Kendrick is beefing with Drake and also with J. Cole and A$AP Rocky, and Future is on his side, and so is Metro. Does any of that ring a bell?
I mean, the names. What's going on with them?
Future and Metro Boomin released an album together called We Don't Trust You. And there's a song on there called Like That, which had a surprise feature from Kendrick where he just went off on Drake, J. Cole, and A$AP Rocky because I guess they feel like they're at the top of the rap game and Kendrick is sick of it. I don't know. One of the lyrics in his diss was "fuck the big three, it's just big me." So that's kind of what I'm gathering is he's like, I'm better than y'all. Y'all ain't shit. I don't know. But J. Cole released an album out of nowhere with a 7-minute diss track against Kendrick. That was horrible. It was terrible. There was random transphobic lines in it. It was the worst diss track I've ever heard. He then, 2 days later, took it down and said that he was embarrassed he released it. And then, a couple days ago, Drake put out a diss track, which no one really expected because Drake isn't really tough. No one sees Drake as being tough. And it was really good. And it was so good that people thought it might have been AI. But Drake said that he did it. So I guess we're just kind of trusting him. But it was a really good diss. And I'm a huge Kendrick fan. I don't like Drake, but I have to admit, God, it was a good diss. But you know where none of those rappers were? Coachella. And I hear Coachella was also awful.
Yeah, I mean, I saw No Doubt Reunited. They played. Olivia Rodrigo came out.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was really,
absolutely.
really cool to see. I saw videos of Blur's performance, and I think you checked out a couple too.
Yeah, that didn't go so hot.
Not what it used to be. And outside of song 2, nobody knew any of the songs. The crowd was dead. Another really bad performance I heard was Hatsune Miku. I saw some videos of that. I remember explaining to you what Hatsune Miku was. If you don't know what she is, I was having a really hard time explaining it to Tim earlier, so just look it up. You'll understand. But normally, I was telling you there's a hologram, there's a huge show that she puts on. it said at Coachella it was like a small screen that you could barely see if you were, standing toward the back, and a couple backup dancers, and that was it. Like, from what I hear, Coachella this year has been
sounds
mostly
so odd.
Yeah, from what I hear, it's been mostly a disaster, and not a lot of people are very happy about it. One cool thing outside of the No Doubt thing, which is awesome. Who was it? Renee Rapp brought out Kesha. Everyone brings out a special guest during Coachella.
There was a bunch of special guests last night.
Yeah, but Renee Rapp brings out Kesha, and obviously Kesha is going to do her signature song, but she changes the lyrics
TikTok.
to fuck P. Diddy because of what has happened
Wake up
recently.
in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
Yeah.
So she's like, fuck P. Diddy.
Which was awesome because P. Diddy's a piece of shit.
What the hell is going on with P. Diddy?
So from what I understand, which is, just based on a couple articles I read, he was involved with another singer a few years back who is claiming, he raped her, sexually assaulted her. Some girl back in 2003 claimed, sex trafficking and stuff like that. And there's evidence to go along with it. And dude fled the country. Like, dude's gone.
It's like, I'm out of here.
He left. And that's not something that innocent people do.
I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's just speculated that he fled the country.
There is evidence suggesting he fled the country. No one can find him. That's not
Doesn't
not
look
what
good.
innocent
No.
people do.
No.
So yeah, fuck P. Diddy, I guess. His music was never that good anyway. He was about to get another reality show on Hulu too.
And they got canceled,
Yeah.
right?
Well, duh.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, shout out to Kesha for standing up against P. Diddy. I don't know how bold of a stance that is, but still, that was cool of her.
Yeah, like, I get it.
Yeah, totally. I wonder if they're gonna I wonder if she's gonna do TikTok Kesha's version.
Yeah,
But
but completely remix it, re-edit it.
No,
take that
I mean
out.
just change that one
Yeah.
lyric.
Kind of like WWE, right? With their wrestling, if there's something happens down the road that's no longer suitable for the norm of what's going on, because
Yeah.
we as a society are ever changing.
Oh yeah, totally.
So they've changed things way over the years, and they've cut so many different things out. So
Oh,
that,
yeah, I
that
see.
kind of
I see videos of some of the old bits they would do on old WWE, and it's like, holy shit, they put that on TV.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been cut out over the years.
Yeah, dude. Some of it's by today's standards, like that would never happen. WWE is crazy. I never got that into it, but man, some of the clips I see are fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Now I think it's time for the discovery. On this episode, we will be talking to space punk band Rough Dreams.
What's up, Jake? How's it going today, man?
Not too bad. How about you guys?
Pretty good.
Good.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Jake Jones, vocalist and guitarist for the band Rough Dreams.
Hell yeah. Tell us about Rough Dreams.
Well, what do you want to know?
What kind of music y'all make?
I always just kind of say bassy, pop punk, emo with a little love of shoegaze in there sometimes.
Yeah,
I guess.
I hear it. And where are y'all from again?
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Hell yeah. What have you guys been up to?
Oh, we just got back from tour. I don't know, a little over a week ago, I guess. Yeah. So I mean, we were out for 8 days, and not really a long tour, but just a short one. And
For sure.
yeah, and just got back, and honestly took a day off and went right back to work, day jobs.
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
So where all did you stop in the tour? Of course, other than where we played together.
Let's see, we kicked it off in Atlanta, and then we played in Gainesville, Florida, and then St. Pete, and then Port Richey, and then we hit, it was a pretty long drive, Charleston, South Carolina, and then Myrtle Beach, and then Charlotte, North Carolina, and then back to Tennessee. We ended the tour in Johnson City.
Nice. This wasn't your guys' first time out on the road, right?
No.
No.
We've been out plenty. First tour we were able to do in a year. Our old van kicked the bucket. It took us a while to find a new good one, and I luckily found something great. It doesn't look great, but the engine's great, so got lucky on that.
Yeah, no, dude, I've had plenty of car troubles on long drives.
And on tour.
Yeah, on one of the tours I went on, right on the home stretch of the tour, we got a flat tire, and roadside took 7 hours to get to us. It was awful, dude.
I didn't even realize with this new van until till we left. Because I bought it back in October. I didn't even realize the spare wasn't underneath it.
Yeah.
I'd never never thought to look to make sure the snare or the spare was under it. So we got on the road. I'm like, guys, I don't have a spare.
Our issue is we didn't have the tools.
No,
We didn't have the right fucking size tire iron.
Oh yeah, you got to have all that stuff, which we had, but I just didn't even think about the fact that the van I just bought a few months ago didn't have a spare underneath it. I was like, oh shit.
So I'm curious, as a touring DIY musician, what's your favorite state to play in? And you can say your own. That's allowed.
Favorite state?
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite towns to play is always Atlanta in Georgia. Like that's where our label's based out of, and we've played so many shows there. Like people know who our band is when we get there, and it's it's not far from where we live. It's a great place to like kick off a tour if we're heading south or something.
For sure.
I love playing Atlanta. And then Gainesville's great. Gainesville, Florida's great too.
Oh, Gainesville's awesome. I love the scene out in Gainesville.
Oh yeah.
What's next for you guys?
We've got a couple. We're playing this like big punk drag flea market thing on May the 4th. It's like a Star Wars themed flea market with like 3 or 4 bands and then like drag performances in between. And it's at this big venue in Knoxville called the Concourse. So we got that coming up, and then we're doing this little new festival that's it's the first year of it here in Knoxville. We're doing that like at the end of May, and then we're currently working on a new record. So we are working on those songs, and then I've picked up some random shows for us out of town here and there, over the next few months. But after that, we'll probably try to work on a West Coast tour going into the later part of the year.
Awesome. Where can people find your stuff?
Oh, anywhere. If it's online, wherever you stream, like Spotify, Deezer, if anyone still uses that, Apple Music, whatever, Bandcamp.
Totally.
Atlanta, man. Like you said, you like playing there. I was just through there recently, and it was a madhouse. Are the show turnouts good there? It seems like a very crowded town.
They are for us now because we've played, so many shows, got a bit of a name, in Atlanta with certain couple scenes or whatever. So they're always really good for us. And Atlanta's a wild city, man. It's wild and dirty. Love Atlanta.
I played a show in Atlanta on the Neverless tour, and it was in the weirdest spot. It was at this place called No Tomorrow, and it was like in what used to be this underground tunnel system.
Underground Atlanta.
Yeah, that's where I played. The craziest place, but I had a lot of fun. It was a good turnout. Atlanta is a cool city.
Have you played there?
Yeah. No, I haven't, but I've been to Underground Atlanta in the past.
I saw that when I went through. I was wondering what that was, but they have like bars.
They have all sorts of shit down there.
Where?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like way back in the day, like way back, like before we were all born, like there's a real sketch.
Oh, I'm sure.
They definitely cleaned that thing up over the years.
It was crazy though. It was crazy to see. Me and our drummer arrived before everybody else, and we had no idea where we were going. So we were just aimlessly like two like very out of place people just like wandering around downtown Atlanta. Like, hey, do you like asking business owners, do you know where this is? God, I felt like a jackass. Yeah, Atlanta was a lot of fun.
Yeah, don't take a wrong turn in Atlanta because it'll take you 30 minutes to get back.
I had that happen.
Yeah,
it's
insane. You miss an exit on the interstate and you're fucked for like the next 30 minutes. You can't just take it, come back around. You're just.
I had a lot of issues like that too in Jacksonville.
I'm gonna say there's parts of Florida that's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like I think it's I-10 over there. But that's what you go through on the touring life.
Oh yeah, you can. I think we were in. Where do we stay? I want to say it was. Gosh, it may have been Charleston. Like the layout of the area of town that we had our hotel room. Like you had to like go over this bridge to get to it, and then like do a complete U-turn, and like it took like 15 minutes just to leave it, and then you couldn't just pull out and go left. You had to like drive across this bridge, and it took us 30 minutes to get nowhere, like more than one time. every time we left the hotel, we're like, what the hell, man? Like, who designed this shit?
Gotta love
But
it.
yeah, that's how it is.
Anything else you wanted to push?
Not that I can really think of. We put a new EP out back in September, so that's been out for a little while. And then actually we did just drop a No Effects cover for this big No Effects tribute compilation that Coffin Curse Records put out.
That's it.
And it came out I think it came out March 29th, so it's pretty recent. And we have a track on there that you can stream on Spotify and Bandcamp and whatever.
That's dope.
So that's pretty new. So.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, man. You have a great day, all right?
All right, you too.
All right, see ya.
And here is Over It by Rough Dreams.
Talking to myself again, this conversation never ends. Don't need a drink, I need a friend. I could take a chance and confide in you about all the shit I've been going through. The odds are on you'll betray me too. And I hate it. I'm taking it. To all my friends, I'm not coming around this place again. The drama never seems to end. I'm totally over it, so over it. Party's over, everybody's gone. Don't know who owns the floor I'm sleeping on. The record skips and I've got the spins. Tried to fall in love, but I found a fight. Now the morning sun's burning out the night. The music stops, I'm alone again. And I hate it. I'm taking it. Farewell, my friends. I'm not coming around this place again. The drama never seems to end. I'm totally over it, so over it. Farewell, my friends. I'm not coming around this place again. The drama never seems to end. I'm totally over it, so 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 over
God, that's such a good song. I love the shoegazy feel to it.
Yeah, great guitar riffs.
Totally. Don't forget to check out Rough Dreams wherever you stream your music or on any social media platforms. And now I think it's time for DIY or Die. We're going to listen in to our friend Will Birdwell. Let's check it out.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Will from the Raven Makerspace, and today we're going to talk about some tactics that you can use when you're trying to get your very first gigs going on. And we're going to continue with our fictional band that we made up last episode, which is Red 5. And in case you missed that or you haven't listened to that one yet, Red 5 is going to be a 90s hardcore band that's loosely sci-fi inspired by Star Wars. And basically in our imaginary band, the cast members, if you will, our vocal and guitar, bass, drums, we're all a bunch of nerds who maybe previously in life we were getting beat up a bunch, and then we joined a hardcore band together so we could scream about it. So moving forward with that concept, right? I'm ready to go get some gigs for Red 5, and I'm like, where do I even get started, right? Because everybody may not necessarily know things about their local scene if this is your first attempt, or maybe you're new to the area, or whatever the case may be. But this process kind of needs to go somewhat similar regardless of where you're at. The first thing I would suggest is you need to build an EPK. And you'll say, hey, Will, what is an EPK? That's an electronic press kit. Well, why do I need a press kit? I haven't gotten any press yet. That's a very good question. So in that press kit, what you want are things like pictures of the band, good promo shots that we can use to advertise, right? And maybe we will also have a good little snippet review of your current releases, which, by the way, you really shouldn't be trying to book shows. If we're talking about commercial success, again, that's really the concept of what we're dealing with here. If our music is going for commercial success, we really shouldn't be trying to book any sort of major shows. Now, that's not to say like showcases aside, just getting your feet wet in the scene, but any sort of major promoted event, we really shouldn't be trying to book until we've grown some interest in the band. And we'll talk about ways to do that with those releases. That being said, we need a way to promote. So be sure to put in a little blurb about your current music releases. And anything that's going to indicate to the talent buyer, the manager, or whoever of what that experience for the patrons is going to be like. The next thing that you're going to want to kind of get a handle on is where is your market, right? We talked about commercial music, commercial success. So you need to do some market analysis. And the easiest way to do this is when you release music via Spotify, via iTunes, or whatever service platform you use, there are often analytics included where they tell you where your music is being played the most. And you really want to take a look at these because it may surprise you where some of your stuff is taking off. If, for example, maybe you notice that a town 2 hours away from you, and we're located in Tampa Bay, right? So let's just say, whatever reason, that Red 5's music started taking off in Orlando, more so even than Tampa. I would probably try to aim for booking Orlando first. Why? Just naturally, we're going to be more successful there, right? If it's within your reach, try to aim at those markets where you already know you're somewhat successful. Now, you may be hearing all this and saying, well, none of my music is successful yet. We're brand new. Like, what the heck is going on? How on earth can I ever get to playing a show? And I'll tell you, there are actually quite a few alternatives that you could do. So one of the very obvious ones, and I say obvious because it's just very known in the industry, but it may not be obvious to you, you can buy onto a tour. And that may seem shocking or it may not, but you can very easily, in fact, purchase your way onto the support position of certain tours. Now, of course, the way that you get into a position to where you could even buy on one of those is that your music needs to be of some sort of decent quality, and perhaps you are on the rise in terms of popularity. Again, using those pipelines we talked about previously to release music in a way that it's going to be visible and be received. Once you have some interest going, it's a lot easier to position yourself in a way that says, hey, could I buy onto this tour? I think we'd be a good fit. And if you're wondering where to do that, you could, of course, just look up who is booking your favorite current rising acts. Maybe that is one way you could do it. Another way is to do a more shotgun approach. You could reach out to some very high-level booking agencies and say, hey, I'm looking to purchase a slot or to buy on to a tour of this particular package or genre. And when something becomes available in this kind of window of time, could you please reach out to me? We are ready to tour. And that is going to be an offer that's very intriguing to many booking agents. And you're going to find that that actually warrants quite a few responses. Now, the reason I know this is that I've done it personally, and then I've also done this for many other friends as well in their own bands. And, we have a variety of methods of how I would represent myself if I was representing a band. Now, you can choose to do that directly from a band account, but you may find that it actually helps having an intermediary, a friend, who just says, hey, I represent, let's say, Red 5. I represent Red 5, which is a 90s hardcore act out of Tampa Bay, and they are looking to move up in their career, and so they're looking to purchase a support act slot on whatever tour support windows you may have available whenever you come to the southeastern United States. Let me know if we can be of assistance and where you might best place us. Now, of course, they're going to want a little bit more information. They're going to say, okay, Will, what's your numbers look like in that market area? And of course, you need to know those things. They might also say, have you played any shows previously on your own? And you may or may not have. And we'll talk a little bit about how to do your own in just a sec. But they're going to want to ask those things and just be honest. If you're saying, hey, look, it's our first time out and that's why we're trying to do this, they may offer some advice. They may not. They may decline or they may take you up on it. But either way, you have to try. Now, on a more DIY approach, and I say DIY in the sense of you really are doing it yourself now instead of paying for a service to help. But in a DIY approach, you could try something that we like to call tour swaps. So this is going to take a little bit of more labor on your part, but you're going to need to go and find some bands that you like their sound and they're up and coming and you see that they are touring, perhaps. And you say, hey, I would like to tour with you guys and you're coming through this way. How about I open for y'all when you're in, let's say, Florida? So, we'll say Dr. Doom and Friends. Dr. Doom and Friends comes through and Red 5 wants to play with Dr. Doom and Friends. And Dr. Doom and Friends says, yeah, sure. If we have 5 Florida dates, you can play all of them. And then we'll trade you, right? We'll give you tour support if you can ever make it over to Texas. And I say, wow, that's great. Let's do that. So what this does then is this builds a whole relationship and an access to an entire fan base in Texas, which I haven't even toured yet, all because of my willingness to open for this band, Dr. Doom and Friends, when they come through Florida, and I thought to check them out. So this kind of scenario happens all the time, and it's much, much more easy to set up. You skip all the, middlemen and email chains and all that stuff. Just talk directly to the band and say, hey, look, I really like you guys. Any chance I can help you out? Could I assist you in some sort of way? Bring value to them. And then they're going to want to bring value back to you in their home state. Now, another method you could do, even if you just could not find somebody to partner up with, right? Maybe this is time to try street teaming. And the way you could do this is you start looking in some of these online social groups on Facebook and other places, and you say, or Discord even, you say, hey, my band is wanting to come through Texas, and I would love to show you guys my music. Who could I send some free stuff to? I really think you're going to appreciate this, right? You could try a shotgun approach like that. You could also hit up college radio. You can try different record shops and things. Find some people who have some common interests with you and just straight up give them something. It's okay to give away your music and your merch on the purpose of marketing. And what this is going to do is this, again, it's going to establish your relationship. And these people are going to be your street team. Because if you believe in your music and your music is that good and your product is good, which it should be at this point, right? When you get these products and this music into their hands and into their ears, they're going to get excited about it. They're going to join in this journey with you. And what are they going to do? They're going to tell their friends. And we talked about this last episode. When they tell their friends, they're way more likely to get those friends to listen to you and to also become excited about you. Maybe come out to a show, buy some merch. Then if you were to post a social media ad and say, hey, we're coming to Texas, check us out, right? So take advantage of that. Maybe, do a little bit of that market research. Again, see where your music is currently popular. And then, really dive into that culture of how can you bring value to somebody there that, is going to have some common interests with your band. So to wrap it up, let's talk about what an offer should look like to a venue. Once you've finally secured the yes and they're interested, the date is available, and they're saying, okay, Red 5, what have you got to bring to the table? Here's what an official offer should look like when you present to a venue. The venue wants to know some very important things. They want to know what kind of market research you've already done and what does your current market look like in relation to them. So for example, Texas, right? Let's say I'm going to Houston. Hey, Red 5, we dropped an album last year and currently we have over 20,000 listeners. And currently I know for a fact that 400 of those listeners live in Houston, Texas. Okay. That's good market research right there. Okay. Oh, even better if you've sold direct merch to them, you have emails of these people, because you can prove that these are real people and not inflated numbers, okay? Second thing you're going to do is bring value to the venue, right? What are you going to do for this specific venue? And the way you're going to do that is you're going to give them a ticket number. Give them a real estimate. That not some wishful thinking. Be honest with yourself. And the more honest that number is, the more likely you'll get a positive response if I'm totally real with you. I've had countless venue owners tell me that they would rather see a real number of, hey, you know what? We're new to this market. I think I could sell 30 tickets. Then just some overinflated like, oh, dog, we got you. 150 in the room, no problem. Because really what they need to know is, are they going to make their rent? Are they going to make their nut? Are they going to cover their staff's money that they owe? Those people got to eat. They rely on them. So if you're bringing real value to them, cool. And if you're not bringing real value, be honest about what you can do, and you're going to be getting a much more respected response. Once you establish how many people are going to be in the room, that's when you tell them what you want to get paid, okay? Not before. After you establish the value that you bring, then you say what that value costs, right? Don't just walk in and expecting, I want a $500 guarantee, and you can't bring people to the room. That's crazy. Establish what you can do, then let's talk about what gets paid. Now, if you can't do a bunch of numbers, right, in the sense of like, oh man, I don't know what we could do, that's when it's time to talk about percentage. That's the only way you're going to both be successful, all right? Just be real about it. And then bear in mind, there's a lot of alternative arrangements and how to get paid from the door and tickets and all that good stuff. So just be a little bit flexible. But again, remember to present what value you're bringing, and you're going to get a lot better of a response than just, hey, I want to play at your venue. How do I do it? Lastly, do a little bit of research on the room. Make sure that you present a tech rider. Make sure that it's very clearly understood what your needs are, especially if that particular room doesn't normally host live music. That is a scenario that occurs a lot. So you need to establish what the expectations are for the tech up front, because certainly if they can't accommodate that, like, why waste anybody's time? And that's about it. You know, it's not really a crazy difficult process to book your first show, but certainly you can guarantee a lot more yeses by following these kinds of steps and presenting a unified front and, you know, a prepared package that's ready to be accepted by the person answering that email or that phone call. Because a lot of times they answer so many throughout the day, and all they want to know is just that pertinent information. So if you skip right to it and present them with what they need to know, you're going to get a yes or at least a no a lot faster, right? Nobody likes to be kept in the dark. And don't forget that, of course, if you need help with any of these kind of things and you're located in the Tampa Bay area, I'd love to come see you, or you can come see me over at the Raven Makerspace in Newport Richey. I'm happy to help your band figure this stuff out and help you prepare your first electronic press kit. And of course, we have rehearsal space, recording space like I'm doing right here on our podcast, and a whole slew of other things, including our pro shop and event space. So looking forward to helping you achieve your musical goals.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Don't forget to check us out on all social media platforms at rumblevs.theairwaves.
And don't forget, I also have stickers. Someone please email me so I can send you some stickers. Not one person has emailed me. I want to give some stickers away through the mail.
We have so many stickers. Also, don't forget to check out www.thenewfury.com.